Hello.
Simon?
Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes.
I am streaming live into the Infiniverse, so I'm gonna let me get the intro out of the way first while we wait for people to join. If this is the first time that you've attended one of the Joke events, welcome. If you want to know more about the project, we do have these AMAs on a weekly basis. Tonight's one is a particularly important, really important update for the project. We do try to speak to you as from a founder's perspective every single week. So, and we are delivering in the metaverse, we believe, like nobody else. So I'm going to make sure I sit near my mic, which is going to be a little bit difficult seeing as I'm straining to sit in front of the camera as well. But for those of you that don't know the project, we've been going for about a year, and we have 10 comedy clubs open in the Infiniverse. We are now opening. Who's interrupting me? Please go on silent. So we have 10 clubs in the Infiniverse. We have a club in Altspace, which we're going to start developing. You're going to hear a lot more tonight about other places where we are going to be very shortly going and developing and being the leaders. We were very early into the Infiniverse, and that project is still in beta. And if you're watching it stood inside the Infiniverse, congratulations, you're one of the people that we want to get to. We want people who love comedy, and we now have built up over the last year connections with most of the big comedy groups in the world. And I mean from the very, very top down to people that are promoting in local venues, mid-level comedians. But we want to help comedic talent, and we want to help them get an audience that they wouldn't have got otherwise. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to our Discord. If you want to join us on Discord, the link is discord.gg/JC. So the / is just joke community /JC for Discord. That's where the AMA is taking place. You can remain in the Infiniverse and watch the remainder of the AMA. What I'm saying though is if you join us on Discord, you get a chance to ask questions, because I'm not obviously now in VR. The majority of our community listen in on our Discord channel, and that's how we conduct the majority of the AMAs, although we normally now will be broadcasting into all of our metaverse properties. So I'm just going to switch over to the Discord view. You'll see it change on the screen, and then you can get rid of my ugly mug. So nobody necessarily wants to see a 50-year-old guy in the UK spouting on about a project that him and his business partners have taken a year to get to this point. But we do have a token. We have an NFT called the Joking Jungle Cats, otherwise referred to as the JJC. But please come and get involved. If you like what you hear in the project, come and learn, spend some time in our community, and you'll find out a lot more about what we're about today. So I'm just going to jump over to Discord. So you should see the screen transition. Andy, we're now over onto the Discord channel, and we should be streaming live into Infiniverse, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. So yeah, can you just say a little bit about the project up to date?
Yeah, of course. I've not got strange feedback, have I? I seem to hear myself twice then. So whilst I was doing that, so yeah, we were just putting some stuff down earlier actually on a document. So, as many of you know, we went out to Houston in November. We'd launched the token at that point. As a very brief roadmap, in January we launched the Joking Jungle Cats, January, February. The token was continuing to trade. You've been able to buy that on at Night Swap. You've been able to farm and stake. So that's all been really positive from a project perspective. Early in January, we met Sam Shepard of the Infiniverse, the chief exec. He was ex-EA Games. We then developed our first comedy club in the Infiniverse. Our first event had over 2,000 from Oculus registered. We had around about 20,000 people come through that event on a loop over that week. We've since opened 8 of the clubs in the Infiniverse. We've also opened one in Alt Spaces that just needs a bit more development. There are going to be some other announcements today on several parts of the project that are all now starting to come together regarding the NFT marketplace and the metaverse, other comedy groups, farming, exchanges, all kinds of stuff. So there's been a lot of work going in the background. And again, you know, sometimes people feel that maybe things are not going quite as fast as we'd all like in different ways. Having said that, when I put this document together earlier, that is also part of what we'll tell you about today, I looked at it and I started typing out, and I don't know whether Simon's had a chance to have a brief look at that because I sent it to him about 10 to 3 before I got embroiled in some other stuff. And it's relevant to joke this document as an entire project of crypto, NFT, metaverse, and comedy being delivered into via people's mobiles in a whole new way. And you look at what we've done in just over a year from when we launched in, I think it was July, to where we are now, and quite frankly, I think we've blown most projects away. And particularly considering we're a small team, we're unknown still, or that's starting to change. I think everybody who's part of the project should pat themselves on the back. That's everybody from who's invested in it, who's stayed with us, who's helped us in all manner of ways, and a lot of you are on here. It's a massive thank you to you all, because where we've got to now is it's starting to get eye-watering, and it feels to me, we've said it many times, it feels like we're so close on so many things. And it feels like we're starting to get there now, and I think it's just it's a thank you to everybody involved and, you know, everybody's hard work and commitment. But I might share actually just what we've done out of that document in the next couple of days and just drop it into Discord, because I think when you look at it, you go, bloody hell, yeah, a lot has been done, particularly since the end of last year, the start of the year, from January to now. You know, in 8 months, a lot has happened, a lot has been done. And yet, these have been a couple of stumbles along the way, but it is amazing what we've managed to do. And, you know, we look at other projects as part of other things, and we go, what have they done? They've done nothing in 5 years, some of them. They keep promising things and they don't do anything. So, you know, I think we are doing particularly well. And as Simon said many times, patience. And like I said, sometimes we all get impatient, but you know, it is going extremely well. And particularly, today's the biggest AMA that we'll do so far in the project, and without a shadow of a doubt. Simon, can you hear me? Are you all sorted?
I can, but I think it was me that was giving you the feedback, so I went on silent for a minute.
Right, okay.
Right.
Okay, I don't want to say much more than what I've said because I've alluded to some already, so I didn't want to give away the game as we were going along, so to speak.
Right, can you and Jane, anyone else, please monitor the AMA chat, because what I'm going to do is go through a series of announcements. The last part of the AMA is going to be the most important thing, so if you want to hear everything, you are going to have to listen to the end. That will be... Well, there is some incredible news coming for this project, and that will be announced at the very end of this AMA. We will take a Q&A section at the end. If you do think of a question while we're going through, please type it in the AMA live chat section so that we can cover them off at the end, because I'm not going to stop and break my train of thought to cover off any questions that come out of what I'm going to say, okay? So if you do have a question, we'll have a Q&A section at the end, and by all means at that point I'll invite people onto the stage to ask questions and we'll answer them one by one. But it would be a good idea, if possible, you can type them in the AMA live chat as we are going through, because we're going to get through about 6 or 7 different things, all of which are very important, all of which you will realise have significant impact on the project, and all of which give you the roadmap for where we're going over the next 2 months to a whole nother level. So I'll just crack on with it. If you've got questions, please type them in that AMA live chat, and the ones that can be answered by Andy or Jane or anyone else out of the founders group, they will probably, or hopefully he says, be answered by people as we're going through. If you just want to listen along and make some notes, I have got a not a script that I'm following today, but I've got a list of things that I want to make sure I cover off. So I can probably post this afterwards. It's not in a format that's supposed to be, it's not a document, right? It's just a list that I'm going through today. Those people that want to get more detail on individual things that I cover off, you could say to them, look, this is what was covered in the AMA. If you want to hear what Simon and Andy had to say about it, you can go and listen to the recording. I'm going to try and get through it reasonably quickly because I don't want anyone to have to, as usual, listen for hours.
I was about to say that, Simon. We probably need to take the Q&A bit at around about 22 and do this in half an hour, because a lot of people are going to want to listen back to this, so we probably need to keep it as short as we can, within an hour, the whole thing.
Yeah, okay. So look, I'm going to just get going.
Yeah.
The bingo this week, I'm going to draw tomorrow. I'm not doing it today. I've just had too much on my plate, and from when you hear what everything else is going on, you can let me off. Okay, so the bingo numbers will be drawn tomorrow. First piece of news is, I know we've talked about the NFT marketplace being launched. That is officially getting launched on the 1st of September. So you've got 2 weeks until that is launched. It is 99% ready. It has to be tested, and we will be getting people from within the mods group at their request to test it and make sure it's 100%. So the official launch date of the NFT marketplace for Joke, which will be on the domain joke.exchange, will be up and running on the 1st of September. So we'll be putting that out obviously to everybody. Like I've said at the start of this, if you want to stay and hang around, the biggest announcements in this part of the AMA are going to be at the end of it. So that's probably going to be in 20 minutes to half an hour's time. First thing is, we've agreed a collaboration with Fat Cats. They have a really big community and an active community in the NFT space, and we'll be working with them from next Tuesday. And we have an AMA on their space where we will be telling a lot of people about their project and our project. And the main reason behind that is we want to start a collaborative effort between a lot of the projects that have cats involved or cats as their theme. So as we move forward as JJC, so the joke, I don't really like saying joking jungle cats because it just doesn't trip off the tongue. But yeah, we will be using JJC. I know we've used Jarmy in the past, as in Joke Army, but we're going to brand anyone talking about us on Twitter or anywhere else. Please use JJC, because you've got Bored Ape Yacht Club, BAYC, and you've got Apes Together Strong, ATS, and all these other sort of acronyms for project names. So we don't see why we shouldn't be JJC going forwards, and that's what we've decided in the admins meeting, that we will brand our NFT collection. The acronym for it will be JJC. We are going to work with Fat Cats, and we are going to bring their community into the comedy space and into running a comedy event with them. So that should be really good exposure as the first part of that step towards working with a lot of other cat projects. That AMA with them is going to be next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I think that's about 8 p.m. UK. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, but we will put a proper announcement out telling people when that is, and we would like, ideally, if there's other people available to take part, particularly from the senior leadership, if you've got a chance to come along and help represent us on that would be amazing, because I don't necessarily want to just do it on my own. I know I can talk at length about the project, but it's just nice to get other voices in there, get other people excited, get other people wanting to jump in and the last big one of those I went on, I was asked to tell a joke, and I hadn't prepared one. So maybe we'll take David.
Simon, I will do my very best to be on that, but I'll probably know a little bit more at the weekend.
Yeah, I know Andy won't necessarily be available. That's why I'm asking for help from the remainder of the community. So the next part that we're going to update you on is the building of our own app, and we are building a comedy app, right? And it's going to be something completely different, something that the world has never seen before, and we have access to a piece of tech that nobody has used on mobile yet, because as of the 18th of September, I have said this in AMAs before, but as of the 18th of September, the whole world of mobile changes, and we will be ready for that with this tech that has been built specifically by somebody who it's a business called Sizzle. He runs the Sizzleverse, Brian Weiner, and he has worked with Paramount, Disney, Warner Brothers, Gillette. The list goes on for the number of apps that this guy has built. He's building that project for us for free. So the reason that is because he has had a lifelong love of comedy, like myself. He wants to run a comedy app, and he will bring sponsors to that the level you would never believe. Like when you start having meetings with people and they've got Oscars on their shelves, you know you're in the right room. So that guy is building that app. I'm not going to tell you exactly how it is. We've already filmed the trailers, and Dave Arena's on the stage and he's filmed one of those. So he will be one of the first people into that app. The reason that's getting built is to obviously get a lot more exposure for us, but also to get us a way to help with mental health. And we think, or we know, that if we can serve up comedy on a daily basis to millions of people for free, that gives a massive boost to the project and gives us an amazing amount of exposure, brings a lot of people into our communities, and they obviously then trickle down into becoming token holders, becoming NFT holders, getting involved in the community. And really, that's when the project starts to take off, when we get a lot more holders, but more on that in a bit. We are going to hold back on running shows in the Infiniverse and other metaverses until September, probably the latter part of September, and the reasons for that will become apparent very soon because of what we're about to say. The other part of that is that currently it's not the greatest time in VR. Everyone knows that. It's warm. Most of the metaverses are doing their dev at the moment, and they're not developing the tech, things like we need, like the ability to track people within the space and know how many people have gone in and out of a room and where they've gone and how long they spent and all that sort of interesting stuff. That's getting built at the moment, for example, in the Infiniverse by Chris and San. But, as soon as we're going to line all these events up for September, and that's going to become apparent towards the end of this why we're doing that. Thanks to Jane, we have a meeting with a person who is 1 degree of separation away from Kevin Hart. The Kevin Hart NFT project are interested in talking to us. And I will say this openly on here, we would love to have obviously Kevin come and collaborate with us in the Infiniverse and give him a space in there. That will be being discussed. That person that we're going to be speaking to has direct contact with Kevin himself. It's not somebody that's at arm's length and has to go through level upon level of management to even get to speak to him. That's somebody that has direct contact with Kevin, so he will be hearing about our project. So fingers crossed for that. That's not the big announcement that we're going to make today, but it is just before anyone gets massively disappointed and says, "Oh, is that it, Simon? You've got a meeting with somebody who knows Kevin Hart." No, that's not the big news, but I'm just keeping you in the loop that we are talking to people at that level at the moment, and massive thanks to Jane for arranging that, because she is now helping on the Kevin Hart NFT project and has arranged that meeting for us, and it is interesting to them because we can facilitate getting them into the metaverse. So the next part is we have the agreement with Gotham. Gotham is one of the biggest, and this is not the big announcement, so keep your fingers crossed for what's coming. We have, and this is big enough on its own, but we have an agreement with Gotham in New York. They are one of the world's leading comedy clubs. Chris Mazzelli, who runs it, we've had meetings directly with him and got to know him, and the agreement is now there for them to begin producing content with Joke in all of our metaverses. Note that I am using the word metaverses, and we will be able to have some of the world's biggest comedians along with amazing upcoming talent and a ongoing significant uplift in the amount of events we are running. I have had conversations with Dylan Shub, who runs the Fat Cat project. He's very well known in the NFT community space, and he personally thinks that VR is in too early in a stage for the development is not there. My personal opinion, it's going to go a lot quicker than a lot of people think, hence why we are growing our footprint in some of these metaverse projects more quickly than a lot of other projects, and I think faster than probably anyone. We're even getting to the point where I'm not going to mention names today, but we are getting approached by some of the biggest NFT and metaverse projects out there just because of what we are now doing with a lot of what the connections we have and the ability to put content into those metaverses. So this is like the people that are starting the internet, they want content, right? And there's very, very few people making it at the moment. There's a lot of people promising it, like Andy said. There's tons of people promising the earth with Hopium and come and invest in our token because we will do this and we will do that. And 99% of those projects will do bugger all, nothing, right? They won't do a quarter of what we've already done, let alone what we're about to talk about. So Gotham is ready to go. Chris, who we were speaking to, he discovered Amy Schumer amongst many other worldwide comedy names. His connections in the comedy industry, I don't think you can probably get any better. So that is at a stage now where we can leverage that relationship going forward. So that's amazing that we will be able to take their content, we will be able to put on our own shows. Dave Arena, one of our founders, he's on the stage. I'm not going to ask him to speak because I'm not going to break out from what I need to get through, because I need to get through this in the next 15 minutes so we can have some questions. But Dave literally is a few blocks away from the Gotham Club, has performed there in the past, and will be able to be a conduit for the arrangement with them. And as I don't think we can stress enough the amount of kudos that gives to our project, having an arrangement with the Gotham, because it will bring a cascade of other clubs wanting to do business with us, because we have proven that we are able to walk the walk, able to deliver and work with the biggest names in the world. So that's been something that's taken ages, like the agreements, the meetings, the behind the scenes. I am going to get massively pissed off with anybody that says we are not doing enough work, right? Because we are working our bollocks off, as we would say in the UK, on the Joke project. That's not a joke, right? Andy and I literally committed our entire life to running this project outside of what we do in our own business, and we've seen that other business suffer for the amount of time that we're spending on the Joke project. So let me just get my thoughts together. Andy, just take over for a minute while I just make sure I get the next piece right.
Right. Okay. I'm not sure if Sam's going to cover this, but I know Antoine's got us another meeting lined up with another comedy group tomorrow, so I'll be having that meeting as well. There still is other conversations and contracts pretty much agreed with another group over some bits. So there's backwards and forwards in, but it's all good. On the Gotham thing, just to clarify, Chris did message back, unless Simon's heard something different from me. I think he's just checking something with a couple of his partners, but that's all looking good. On the app, to remind as well, Dave Arena did do a green screen, and so did Don Jolly, one of the UK guys who's a big comedian. So that's all looking promising. As a side as well, the team at S Media, Katie worked particularly hard. She has got 4 or 5 other comedians lined up. One of which who has performed before, because we keep putting ads out. So we are getting some kind of up and coming unknown comedians who are really keen to perform in the metaverse, who have all got stuff to show for September. So we are working with individuals as well, not just big comedy groups. And I think that's one of the beauties of the project is we're going to start seeing soon not only Gotham Comedy Club and bigger names, but we're going to see everybody down to people who are just starting out. And we want to give those people the stage. We don't want to, it might be some people are not particularly brilliant, but this is the whole point. In the metaverse, we can give people the opportunity to perform. So it's all looking promising. So are you back online there, Simon, now?
Yeah, I'm back. Andy alluded to the fact that we've got more meetings coming up. One of them, and this next piece is not the biggest announcement in this AMA, but it's still pretty significant. We had a meeting yesterday with the founder of TCG World, David Evans. David is from the UK. He has $125 million worth of funding behind his project. He's been in the crypto space since 2013, he was telling me. That guy is, again, as connected as you can get. And it was thanks to Antoine, Antoine and Mark, who originally met the guys from TCG at NFT Las Vegas, that put us in touch with a guy called Captain Awesome. And Mr. Awesome truly is awesome, and if he's listening, I can't see whether he's in the audience, but he's created the connection with David. He's big in TCG World. Now, if you don't realise quite how big this is, TCG have sold, I think, in excess of $40 million of their metaverse so far in terms of land and buildings, and they are obviously looking for people to do things in there, right? They're not open for another 3 or 4 months. They're building their footprint, but they are also approaching many celebrities and approaching projects that they consider to be decent and able to provide content within their metaverse. So we have agreement for space, significant space in their metaverse. It is not going to cost us anything other than having to be able to provide content. We have a revenue share agreed with TCG, and we will own that land within that metaverse once we meet a certain level of revenue that that is yet to be agreed what that figure is, but the space is agreed. We will have our own clubs. We will have massive amounts of attention and audiences, because with these guys with hundreds of millions of dollars worth of funding, they ain't mucking about, right? They are going to bring the noise, and they will bring a lot of people into their stages there. They have tested, as of yesterday, and even Andy doesn't know some of this stuff, but they were testing a shard with 4,000 people in it. So it's a different beast to the Infiniverse. It's a different place for us to perform. They have spatial microphones. They have the ability to allow people to heckle, chosen people within the audiences, different level, all of this. They're excited about us getting involved to help develop the performance space within that metaverse. And that's something...
Yes, Just a quick one as well. I was aware they were doing the testings on the mic. Captain Awesome is also closely linked with Dr. Dre.
Yeah, he is very.
So the project will start getting in more eyes and more ears of people who have got real clout, and it will happen.
Yeah, so we're going to be on their entertainment island, and look, exciting times to be able to brand up a space in TCG with the number of people that are going to be coming in there. Obviously, the whole space is going to develop very quickly, but we should be able to move quite quickly to be able to drive revenue from sponsorship and from gates and tickets, and the model's being developed at the moment for a subscription-based model. Obviously, those of you that hold the Jungle Cats, you'll get into those events for free still, but we need to drive revenue into the project, and to be able to buy the land and commit to them, to a long-term partnership with TCG at the heart of their world. So that's an incredible opportunity for us. Now let's get to a couple of the meaty pieces. The first of these two, and these are the two bigger announcements that are coming your way. We have venture capital interest in the project. That, I don't know whether people understand what that means, but that can take us to like where you wouldn't believe, right? It is mine and Andy's ambition to run this project full time, traveling around the world, speaking on stages about Joke and bringing the community to you guys, right? I need you guys to bring the noise over the next 4 to 6 weeks. And what I'm going to say in the next part of the announcement, not about the venture capital, but what I'm going to say about the next piece, it is crucial, absolutely crucial, that all you people as investors get involved with this project. I have been asking over the last 3 or 4 weeks, can people please send me things on Twitter, tag us into spaces, or tag us into conversations where we can make a difference. I'm going to say this again, please, you all have a responsibility. If you are an investor in this project, and a real investor, you are now very early. You are in position 1, right? You are perfectly positioned at the point at which this project is going to take off. Those people that take part and get involved will be rewarded. The ones that sit on the sidelines, I'm not interested, right? I want this community to grow from this floor, right? We have an opportunity that hardly anybody ever gets, right? We have the opportunity to travel around the world talking about this project and bringing people into it. People who come and listen to these AMAs, they already understand that we are delivering more than anyone else. And when venture capital comes to you and starts talking about very, very, very big numbers, like with 6, 7 zeros behind them, that gives me the confidence that we will be able to make this exactly what we dreamed it could always be, right? And I know some people call bullshit, and I've heard people say that we're not working behind the scenes, right? Well, those people, frankly, frankly, they can get fucked, because I'm fed up with anybody saying that we are not doing enough, because what we are doing right now is going to make us bigger than any other crypto, DeFi, NFT project. Not probably all of them, right? I can dream that we might be as big as Bored Ape Yacht Club and some of the others, but it's going to take us to be by far the biggest comedy project. Not that we're not already, but when we start bringing all these communities together, and the level of people that we've already got as a commitment to perform in our spaces and bring you all of the spaces, we are light years ahead of anyone, miles ahead, right? But when we get the exposure that we're about to get, and then the next level that comes on from that with venture capital, because it's venture capital that goes a long way to driving this project past into things like Binance, right? So I'm going to... One other thing that I've skipped one piece that I shouldn't have done, and Andy's just reminded me, right? we are partnered with NightSwap. We are committed to being part of the Night ecosystem, and I know that there's people on this call who are guardians within the Night ecosystem and are big joke holders, significant joke holders. Some of the people that own a good percentage of the project are listening to this, right? And to all of you, not just them, please, I'm begging you, right? I don't often beg. Andy will know that I don't beg anyone, right? But if there's a time for you to get involved with the project, it is the next 6 to 8 weeks because of what is about to happen, okay? I am watching. I'm watching who's interested. I'm watching who's getting involved. I'm absolutely massively grateful to several people who've referred us into other networks and set up meetings for us. And I even had somebody this week, and if they're on here, I'm McMuffin, right? Set us up a meeting with another metaverse, which is going to be another big, massive opportunity, right? Not something that we're announcing yet, but those type of people are what we love. That is what we need and want. And I'm not going to beg and beg and beg, but I need people to take part and pay attention to what is happening, okay? We are partnered with Night. We have our farms and raids on Night. We will have seen that the raids finished yesterday and the farms are about to finish. Those farms and raids are going to be renewed today or tomorrow, most likely tomorrow. This is probably the floor that the lowest point you're going to see the price of this token for the foreseeable or ever future, right? As soon as I renew those farms and raids, we are putting the plan in place that I'm about to just announce, okay? And this is the point at which I want everybody to pay attention, because we have agreed that we will be listing on P2P, B2B, centralized exchange. That is important because they have over 1 million visitors to their exchange. We will get AMAs with them. We will be working with all of their influencers. We will be working with their team. And over the next 6 to 8 weeks, that listing on their exchange will be prepared and a date will be set. Now, combine that with venture capital interest in the project and a lot more people looking at us. One of the issues we have at the moment is we only have just over 1,000 holders, and most of those are just holders, right? There's a lot of people, very few people just trade the joke token, and I probably will see a lot more people trading the token over the next 6 to 8 weeks as the price starts to grow and that exposure grows. But the minute I start bringing in, for example, on the P2P, B2B, and we'll put somebody drop the link into the AMA chat for me, please, to that exchange. As we drop this in and they get 1 million visitors to their site each month, their Telegram channel has 730,000 people in it, and the average view of each post is 184,000 views. Now, our target is to bring at least another 5,000 holders to the joke project and then go for an IEO on P2P, B2B. And that date will be set towards, as it stands, towards the end of next month, i.e. 6 to 8 weeks from now. All of these contracts are signed, ready to go and agreed, and the announcements will come out over the next couple of days. But you guys listening to this now have the first opportunity to know that and to know where we're going. And it's our first. I know people have been screaming at me to get KuCoin or to get, well, look, we would love to get Binance, but the reason that we're talking to people like venture capital firms who want to invest in the best of the best metaverse projects, I have seen investments in what I would call absolute dog shit projects, right? Some of them, like, honestly, there's a project that I've seen. I'm not going to bandy their name around, because if I do, I'll probably get abused massively on social because they've got a decent community. But the project that I'm talking about has zero utility other than having a nice looking NFT, and their reason for being is to try and create a community around a game that they are trying to build, right? And they have got $6 million of investment for 5% of their project. So start thinking about what your piece of joke is worth at the moment if you hold some tokens or you hold an NFT, and then start thinking about what 5% of joke is worth and compare that to how many hundreds of times your investment could be worth based on what I've just said. So the journey is the next 6 to 8 weeks. The help we require is the next 6 to 8 weeks, because people want to see an active community. They want to see that when people come on these AMAs, there's a lot of people on there, right? It's incredible to see. Look, there's 38 people in this audience at the moment listening to me, plus the people on the stage. And I want to see that in the hundreds very quickly. We will do with the activity that's going to happen, that we have paid for with P2P, B2P, the exposure that we will get on their marketplace, and the amount of times that we will get talked about. Our decks will get talked about. So they will have Night Swap featured. We will be able to run AMAs with their community. We will have the ability to post into their Telegram. And what you've got to realise is we are pretty much the only legit project out there that is able to list on their exchange in the next few weeks, because they're quiet and people are hungry as we come into a good part, hopefully a good part of the market over the next 6 to 8 weeks. And we've had to time this carefully because, you know, it's been obvious that the market has been very damp over the last couple of months. And now we're looking at a probably 6 to 8 week upturn. And then after that, who knows where it goes down, probably down, in my opinion, down till Christmas, and then a rocket ship from January onwards. But again, my personal opinion, not my investment advice. Make your own decisions as always. But we, the group of all of us, can make this success. Make it a success. Help us, right? Please don't sit on the sidelines and watch, because it needs to be a collaborative effort of all of us just helping a little bit, right? If you're an investor, please help, right? And you're here listening to me, please help, right? And I know all of you have got the ability to do it, even if it's just thinking about the project, occasionally tagging us into a Twitter post. If you've got the ability to talk to people that are at a high level, or you know influencers, just point them my way. I'll close them, because we're closing everybody we speak to because they love our project. So, Andy, is there anything you want to add on before? And I don't see any questions in the AMA live chat at the moment, unless they're being answered. But
I've one other thing to add, and we have talked about this. The people we're building the app with also have a whole boatload of tech that is not being used yet, that will allow us as a project and our partner projects to plug things end-to-end tracking. So think about Google Analytics will track things. They've got a piece of software that will kind of do similar for metaverses, that involves MetaMask wallets, knowing when a customer's gone off to a website and bought a product and all those kind of things. So we will be doing that with our merchandise, hats and all that kind of stuff. They've got tech that, from a VC's perspective, we're not going to be just a crypto NFT metaverse project that is in isolation. We're going to be able to track into the real world what people do in terms of purchasing things and taking actions. Now, that's going to take time, but it's there. Now that, from an advertiser's perspective, and we will be getting big advertisers involved in sponsoring events and all kinds of things, is simply huge. Because if you think about the metaverse, it's got the potential to be the world's biggest advertising platform in 10 years' time. And if we've got the tech that allows us to track things and build it now and get advertisers involved, happy days indeed. Because we are starting to get there. We get the VCs involved, and when it happens, all these things happen, we will start getting some advertising people, revenues coming in as well. And that will also change it, because as soon as that gets talked about, everything, we've always said, once this snowball starts going, it will be unstoppable. and it will happen. It will absolutely happen. I feel it in my blood. And I said on an AMA a few weeks ago when Simon wasn't around, I get fed up of saying it's almost close, it's almost close, it's almost close, it's so many things almost close, but it's been the fact. And when I said at the start, when Simon was going over onto the Discord thing, that list I wrote today, and the reason it was, we started outlining a document for the VC funding. And when I looked at what we'd managed to do, you're like, crikey. And again, that's thanks to all your help. There's other people in the community that have meetings with things, and it is just brilliant. So I want to say a big thank you personally to everybody, and also to Simon as my partner in this, because he works ridiculously hard to Simon. If people knew how hard he worked on this, I think it's eye-watering, it really is. So I want to say a personal thank you to Simon, a thank you to all the mods and admins and all the other community members, because we're going to change the world of comedy, we're going to own it in the metaverse, and we're going to own it on people's mobiles, and that is going to happen. So thank you.
Yeah, I'll thank you while we're having a love-in. Yeah, I don't think people realise quite how hard you work either, and we've had a lot of sleepless nights, we've had a lot of in the background. It is incredibly hard to run these projects, right? I cannot stress enough the amount of grief we've had and the amount of problems you have to overcome. Probably from the outside it looks easy, doesn't it? Like, you just launch a token and an NFT and speak to a few people on a weekly basis and happy days. It's a great success. But look, I want to be presenting awards at comedy festivals. The Edinburgh Festival is on this week, and I want to be there next year running events on behalf of Joke. Why can't we? But the footprint, like, I tell people that the metaverse and the creation of the metaverse and helping people, helping people and advising people at the highest level within the metaverse, that gets me excited, and that really puts us in a position where we are able to do, when you get a project like TCG wanting us to come in and wanting to give us land and give us a performance space, like, we would have to, let's not talk about NFT Worlds and where that's gone, because we made a decision, luckily, not to buy into NFT Worlds, because the floor of that is crashed to about 0.6 of an ETH now, if we did want to go into there. But it's pretty pointless now that there's not going to be any revenue opportunities. You're probably actually better off looking at Roblox and Minecraft as places for performance, but sponsoring events without taking payment in crypto is the way forward there. But when we've got connections with people who can bring sponsors like Coke, Disney, Warner Brothers, Paramount, and put them, like, I have made personally a connection between somebody at Warner Brothers and somebody at a metaverse. Not, that you when would I have done that in what I would probably call my previous life, previous to, the Web3 or, non-real life or whatever you want to call it. This is the time that everybody wants to get involved in this. And Mark, are you able to speak at all? I don't know whether maybe you want to tell people about what you know about P2P.
Well, I was just doing some research, and it's very well liked amongst crypto investors, even compared to KuCoin, which you would think would be totally opposite, but it's not. I mean, you're finding a lot of they trade a lot of volume, which is kind of mind blowing, to be honest with you. I've never personally used them, but from everything I'm reading right now, it's pretty amazing. So I think it's.
And what we need to remember is, when we get into a community like that, Mark just hit the nail on the head. They trade a lot of volume. So you guys that are token holders, there's a 1% rebate to all the holders from that volume, because there's a 5% tax, 3% of it goes into LP, 1% goes to marketing, 1% goes to holders. So when we get this volume up, the more important thing is to get the viral news about Joke out to as many people as possible, right? That is what this is going to do. We have to go and get more holders, right? As we do that, we don't want people coming in this Discord and seeing, oh, it's a bit quiet. And Jane used a phrase maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago saying, you know, sometimes when I come in here, it's like crickets. You know, there's not enough noise. There's not enough people in here. And yes, we will have to reinvigorate the Telegram channel because a lot of people want to see Telegram, right? If you feel you can help out on the Telegram side, please do. You will have seen an uplift in Twitter activity. That is mainly me, right? But if you see us posting on Twitter, please retweet it, talk about it, comment, right? Go on to other, like if I go onto Twitter and I search next 100x gem, right? Or similar, next 100x token or best NFT project or shill me your NFT, please, rather than me doing it, find a post where somebody's asking what is the next 100x gem. If I post onto that thread as the Joke community, they're like, oh, you're just promoting your own project, mate. Whereas if independent people like you guys as the holders say, take a look at Joke community, you know, attend one of their AMAs, get to know the guys, the founders are on every week. It's not hard, but it's those things that make a big difference. Just bringing in a handful of people yourselves to keep this place, to keep this space and the other socials really busy over the next few weeks. It is so important, right? The eyes will be on us. The eyes will be on us, right? We need to make the most of this, and it is our opportunity to 10x, 20x, 100x this token, right? And this project, and get the floor of the NFT up to at least 1 or 2 ETH, and then you'll see where it's going, right? Because people will want the scarcity of getting involved, the FOMO of wanting to get involved in a project that is actually delivering, right? And then we'll work on bringing people like Kevin Hart in. I can't wait for my meeting with Kevin when I get it, because I'm sure it will happen. And we've got the Gotham, we've got the farms being renewed on night. So if you are a holder of Joke and that farm gets renewed, which it will in the next couple of days, watch out for that announcement. I think those of you that know how farms work, if you get in at the lowest price, you have an awesome opportunity, not just to, you know, make whatever X the token goes, but to make a lot of return of a decent token, you know, like Night itself. And I know those guys are reasonably quiet at the moment. Some of the people in this room are in that Guardian tier, and they see what is getting built, and they see the investment funds and the venture capital firms that are related to that project, and they see $2 to $3 billion getting invested in the early part of 2023 into that ecosystem. That is beyond what anyone can ever imagine what's going to happen, right, with that token and that ecosystem. I'm not saying get involved in that. I'm saying you've got an opportunity to earn some of that ecosystem for nothing by farming Joke and holding on to assets that are within that system. It's not a play for a few weeks. It's a play for the next 3 to 5 years. But I believe everybody that's in this room, we can all become generationally wealthy and have a great time doing it over the next 3 to 5 years, right? And that's what I teach a lot of people in crypto, to look at what your goals are. The guys in Guardian, they would explain that as your solvable problem. The guy who runs it, Nick Peterson, he will say, what is your solvable problem? And if you write a number down and say, right, to be financially secure and secure my family and do everything I pretty much want to do, can I do that in 3 to 5 years? And I believe in this space you can do that, not just with the Joke project, but listening to what we are going to help you with, and what the Guardians will help you with. And I know Mark's, you know, I think, are you in Guardian, Mark?
No, I am not.
But you're a follower of that project, right?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, cool. But I can see Mick Foreman's in the audience, Crypto Hits is in the audience. I'm just scanning through to see whether there's any others that, not that I can see off the original, not straight away, but look, can we'll pause a sec and just check for a couple of questions in the chat.
We're answering most of the questions in the chat, Simon, so
Cool.
I think we're all good. Somebody's got a bit of a link for us, so James asked him to contact us direct over another collaboration. And I think this is what's interesting. These last 2 weeks, we've really noticed people wanting to collaborate and coming forward with collaborative ideas. That is the true Web3 space, and that's going to work really well for us. And there's a couple of other things bubbling away where there's potential for some other big collaborations as well. And I think all of those combined with all the other stuff we've talked about will be huge. But yeah, the VC thing's particularly big as well, and we are working on that at the moment, and we'll do over the next week.
Right, but when you guys go out and talk about this project, and I would love to see, because you will see me noticing it, particularly on Twitter, if you're able to tag us in to some other, when somebody starts, like, I'm trying to get on Alex Becker's radar. I am friends with Alex Becker and have had conversations with him, not friends as in, that I can dial him up on my mobile, but I'm friends with him on Facebook. We've had brief exchanges through, Facebook messaging in the past, albeit a long time ago. But he doesn't know that I run the Joke Community personally, because I'm not going to leverage that connection until the point at which I really, really think that I can get him to put a stamp on our project and help us. Right at the moment, if you want to use Alex, it's about $1 million to get him to endorse a crypto project, and I want that for free, believe it or not, because we deserve it. We deserve, because we're a genuine project. All the crap projects out there that are getting shilled by people, and I don't think Alex actually gets involved with any of that anymore, because he's concentrating on the Neo Tokyo project mainly. But what I'm trying to say to you guys is, if we can come up on the radar of a lot of influencers and they keep noticing, what's this Joke Community? What is, why am I seeing this? Why am I seeing so many people talking about it? Not shilling us in terms of, somebody puts, what's the next 100x gem? Don't put, well, it's definitely the Joke Community, albeit that it might be. But I would rather you put something like, just come along and listen to one of the AMAs every Tuesday. You'll learn something, or these guys, do a great job and they've got amazing connections in comedy and already have clubs with 15,000 people attending their events. When I told David Evans yesterday about, and he's a Brit, by the way, I don't know whether I mentioned that, so it's, it's quite good that we struck up an immediate rapport. But when I told him that we're getting 15,000 people to our events in the Infiniverse, he said, 15 people. I went, no, 15,000, and he nearly fell off his chair. So those guys, when they launch, the amount of marketing that's going to go around that project, I don't think any of us can conceive what's going to happen, because they are still selling their land. The land ranges from 1 BNB to 20 BNB, but we're getting given a performance space, which is probably 200 or 300 BNBs worth if you equate it to what people are buying in their land sale, because like a 20 BNB plot gets you a plot with about 10 buildings on it, which are like houses rather than a club, and a performance space and bars and restaurants and all that sort of stuff, which we'll have. So look, it is all coming. It is all coming. It's all lined up, the perfect storm, right? We are going to do everything we can to make this happen over the next 6 weeks, right? We're just coming over the top of an hour, so I'm going to limit this to 60 minutes, and I'll probably give 5 minutes for people if you want to put your hand up and ask me a direct question, please do, right? If you want to put your hand up now and come on stage and ask a question, please do. Is there anybody else in the mods and admins on the stage that want to say anything without, to add to what I've been saying?
Yeah, I just want to say, that we always believe in the project, and it's going to continue to go on, and everybody who put in the effort and doing their thing, they're going to get rewarded. Just continue to keep pushing, put your work in, you know. Andy and Simon, Mark, 3K, Jane, everybody part of the project is putting a lot of sweat and tears to make sure the project gets to where it is right now. And I just want to say I'm proud of Andy and Simon for the things they do, and I appreciate being part of this project. Thank you.
Appreciate you too, Antoine, massively, mate. You've done so much for us, and look, we know we've got you back, and you've got ours, and well, hopefully we'll see you in the US in November. I think Andy and I are probably going to be out there anyway, so we'll hook up with you then. Anyone else on the stage, like Dave or Mick? Either of you want to talk at all?
Well, I don't want to drag anything on because I know we've been going for quite a while, but yeah, I mean, all this is really
Dave, tell people how big Gotham is.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, from my point of view, that I know that's not the biggest piece of news, and I get that from a project point of view. But yeah, for me, on the comedy side, that's huge because yeah, Gotham is right up there with the top clubs in New York City, which obviously makes it one of the top clubs in the world. You know, probably right underneath, say, the Comedy Cellar, or right along that same level. So you can't get really any higher. They have their own Access TV show here that they broadcast from here locally, and you know, all the top names like Simon said. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of that and getting in there and even doing some of the lower level shows, like you said, Simon, so that we can have kind of our own pipeline of talent and do open mics and do shows and stuff in addition to what they do on their main stage. So yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, cool. And look, we really appreciate everything you've done for us, Dave, from standing on the stage with a very nervous me in Houston last year and getting us through that to, you know, all the connections you've made. And we look forward to an amazing future. And look, I personally hope that your relationship with Gotham goes to the next level and you're able to take your own star higher and higher. You know, that's what we'd love to see. So, and I'm sure that will come because, you know, the feedback that came from your event, I'm sure it's probably the top rated feedback that we've had of any of our events, which was like you have said to us, it was a massive surprise. But yeah, look, let's reflect on what's in this AMA. There's a lot in there. It's going to generate questions from everybody over the next couple of 3 weeks. There's a lot for us to talk about. There's a lot, right? So much to talk about, from the app to the new farms to TCG to Gotham to the venture capital to P2P, B2B, right? All of this is going to be going off. We're going to we'll limit this now to an hour, right? Because as E-Money, do you want to say anything while you've come on the stage?
I absolutely do, and I'll keep it very short. I'm actually not a part of the community yet. I was in here doing research. But I did want to touch on something you were saying, Joke. Web3 investing is not a spectator sport. If you're out here and you're investing your money into communities, this is a community effort. You know, the founders do as much as they can, but everybody's got to try to bring something to the table if you want the whole community to succeed. Yeah. It's a collaborative effort. I just wanted to touch base on that because I think you nailed that right on the head.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate you saying that because it has felt at sometimes, this isn't a criticism, right? It's we are driving this project and we are responsible for driving this and making sure that it happens and pulling all the strings and pulling everything together and making these agreements. We can't do it all, right? And as E-Money has just said, it's very important that you guys, as a community, grow it and help us. And you're the founders, right? You are founding this community. You are like, I want to take a screenshot of this. Well, we don't need to take a screenshot because we got a video, believe it or not. But yeah, look, you guys in here now, I I want to be able to look back in a couple of years and say all of those guys there, they're all successful and they helped us grow to where we are now. And we're all famous in comedy and we all help run what is the biggest comedy project in the world by that point. It's going to take an effort, and it's going to make, like E-Money says, it's going to take us all to put effort in. So please don't sit on the sidelines. I think that's one of the biggest things that I need to get across over these next 6 weeks. As we put all of this marketing together, you're going to see a lot more people coming into the project, and they're going to be asking questions, and you guys are there to help them, guide them, steer them, teach them, and make sure that they know exactly what we're doing. And we will do these AMAs week in, week out, until your ears bleed, right? And everyone believes that we can do and deliver what we say we can, and we will. So I'm going to draw it to a close, because I don't want the recording to be much more than an hour, because we're going to say in the announcements probably the most important hour of Joke Community or JJC that you're going to listen to definitely in the next 6 months. But we're going to have some massive announcements. We're going to get this listing. We're going to bring in thousands more people to the community. I want you guys to give them a big hug, welcome them, and guide them and make sure that they enjoy it as well. So look, we're about to explode. Let's go.
Brilliant. Thank you, everybody.
All right. We will talk to you soon. And like, any questions, anything that's come out of the back of this, please post it, right? And don't forget to tag us into Twitter Spaces and mention us to as many people and friends as you can. And let's get this community going. So appreciate you all. Really do appreciate everybody taking their time to come and listen. And as always, we'll see you in the Discord and the Telegram. So see you soon. Cheers.
Awesome AMA.
Thank you.